I was finally able to leave the basement and go check out the sequel to Avatar. It's called The Way of Water. This is a movie that James Cameron and his team have been working for years on, and we've been waiting a long time for this film. It's finally out there. I saw it in 3D on a kind of a murky screen, and I was a bit pissed off about that because this is a movie that really commands the best possible presentation, and I want movie theaters to always deliver that. I don't know what the movie theater business is doing, not making the experience of actually watching and listening to these movies paramount, the most important thing. It's ridiculous. We all have amazing TVs or screens around us all the time, and we just want our movie theaters to be better. But anyways, rant off. The movie is a ton of fun, and it's absolutely a wonderful escape for any fans of the original Avatar. It's a return to Pandora, but a lot of things have changed since the original film. Obviously, Jake Sully, played by Sam Worthington, has become more prominent and more respected and more trusted by the Na'vi that he lives with in the forest with Neytiri. They also have had a bunch of children, so they're a family. They've got a bunch of kids that they've had together, but they also have a adopted daughter, which is an Avatar version of Sigourney Weaver's character, but she's younger. So Sigourney Weaver is playing this character, but at 14 years old, and she's a remarkable character. It's a really fantastic kind of melding of the scientific mind, but the mind of a person that was blown away by the power and the connected beauty of Pandora, and that's all represented in this new teenager who feels a little out of sorts and kind of ostracized. She's not like the other sort of indigenous Na'vi, and so there's a lot of trust that is still happening amongst all of these characters, and the younger kids in the movie are growing up and they're kind of feeling that they might be a little bit different, but there's been this massive kind of growth with this family, and there's a real power there. But of course, this is a movie that leans into the idea that the oppressive military might of humans, the Sky People, has come back to Pandora to seek some revenge, and Stephen Lang's character, Colonel Quaritch, is back, but in a different form because we all know what happened to the character in the original film. And so there's a backup plan.
I'll be nice once, then I won't.
So Quaritch is back in the mix, and he's out for revenge. He wants to get Jake Sully. And I felt like some of the plot devices in this sort of revenge tale felt a little bit contrived and a little bit too convenient. It was like a story of convenience, and there was so much overlap with characters being kind of interrelated to each other or connected to each other. I thought that was a little incongruous when we're talking about this massive planet with all of these different biomes, these incredible corners to explore. And that's what James Cameron is promising in the sequel, but also in the subsequent sequels that he and his team are still working on. And I thought, wow, okay, so we're drudging up and reheating some of the old plot lines and the anger issues and the character machinations. I thought that those were decent in the original Avatar, but it was really the exploration and the reveal of Pandora that was the most memorable, and especially the reveal of Neytiri, played by Zoe Saldaña, who was the secret ingredient, the not-so-secret ingredient, the special quality of that original movie. She was everything. She represented the whole heart of the Na'vi and the indigenous kind of power, and just a beautiful, beautiful performance, just a heartbreaking, gorgeous piece of work in that first Avatar film. And she's back here, but because of all of these new characters, all of these kids, and all of these new threads that they put into the story, she's a little sidelined. So she's still got the power, she's still got the emotional heart. There's obviously some tension between her and Jake because some decisions get made, but she's not as prominent and not as, I think, effectively used as she could be, because she is such an incredible character. And so what happens in this movie, of course, is that the conflict between the Sky People and the Na'vi erupts, and Jake and Neytiri have to make a big decision for their family, and it's in the title. They have to move closer to the water, so they become island dwellers and have to integrate with this new tribe that they get to know and deal with going into the water and holding their breath and working with the marine life around them in much the same way that they were dealing with the forest creatures of the original Avatar. And it's spellbinding. It's absolutely beautiful, and we've all been getting the barrage of publicity around this movie, so we know that the production was effectively everybody was in the water and they were shooting these scenes as if it was going to be a live action thing, but then everything has been embellished by computer graphics. But actors were holding their breath for 7 minutes and performing these scenes under the water, and you can see it on screen. You can feel it on screen, because what you see on screen is definitely like the most high-tech, state-of-the-art computer animation work you've ever seen. I mean, it's just incredible. And in 3D, it's staggering, too. The subtle use of 3D that Cameron and his team have been able to do with both of these Avatar pictures is just unbelievable. I wish I had seen it on a better screen, but it was still superb. It was still just this superb dunk into this beautiful world. And I loved all that. I love the performances too. I think everybody was really solid. The kids were really cool and you cared about them. There's real stakes and real jeopardy. And I love that we got to see more of Pandora as well. We see that the life of Pandora extends everywhere. And there's some truly magnificent scenes, but I did feel like there was some contrivances with bringing characters together a little bit too quickly, and it didn't have the architectural elegance of the original Avatar, which was all about world building and big panoramic reveals of this beautiful planet that we were going to explore and all the technology. This one was just like getting right to it, and it just felt a little too convenient that all of these characters are suddenly on top of each other and they're being burned out of the forest and being hunted across these islands and into the water. I was still swept up in it. I do want where Avatar goes from here to take some more twists and turns, so it's not the circuitous way back to old rivalries and old hatreds, and that's kind of what bubbles up here in this movie, and it undermines it a little bit. It makes the movie feel less than the quality of the work that's on screen, in the performances and definitely in the CG work and the beauty that's represented on screen. The core storytelling elements of it undermine all of the creativity that you see. So I think this is a movie to be experienced. It's absolutely something to see on the best screen that you possibly can. I don't think it's as powerful and evocative and shocking and filled with awe as the first Avatar is, because it was all new, but I do think that this does a great job at embellishing this world and also manifesting all of these really cool new characters to care about as well. So I was swept up in it for sure. I don't think it's as good as the first Avatar, but I still think it's one of the best films that I've seen in 2022, and I absolutely recommend it. It's a really staggering accomplishment from James Cameron and his team, and I cannot wait to see where they take us to next. I'm going to give Avatar: The Way of Water. I'm hovering in between a 9 and an 8.5, and I can't give an 8.75, so I'm going to say 8.5 out of 10, but I am looking forward to seeing this one again.